Mr. T, what the heck are you doing?
Well, I kind of partied up too much of my money, so it's back to the grindstone. Hi everyone, Mr.T back again here from beautiful Dominican Republic. In this episode we're going to look into the pros and cons of working down here, and if you are going to, whether you should look for work or whether you should start a business, what the marketplace is like and more. Let's get started. Let's first of all talk about the marketplace here. Is it healthy? Is it unhealthy? Well, I've been coming here for a number of years and I've only seen the economy, especially on the north coast, get worse and worse and worse. And the prices on goods and services have kept rising, squeezing people to look for the next dollar. So if you're thinking of coming down here, it's probably better to come with money. The people who have the absolute most pleasure down here are the people who just come to relax and spend money. So if you can find a way to set up an income, either through some investments that you have, some rental apartments or villas, or some other way where you can just go to the ATM, take some money out and go and enjoy yourself, that's the best way. Now just so you can get a little bit of a feeling for how much activity there is in the business world down here, I've put a few clips together from a 2-hour period, and this should give you an idea of what the marketplace is like, just even from a visual point of view. Let's take a look. Now a lot of foreigners have tried to come down here and endure financial hardship because they hadn't planned it out properly first. Why not have that hardship a little bit overseas up front? So if you have to look for work, why not set up contracts, let's say you do translation, with 5-10 companies that you're willing to work for 90 or 80% of the normal commission or wage if they'll let you do it from the Caribbean. And then travel down here with all those deals in place, so the moment you arrive you can start supporting overseas companies and get paid by these companies instead of trying to look for the pesos in this marketplace. But let's say you're convinced you want to come down here and find a job. Then you better realize there's not a lot of jobs going, and the jobs that are going usually don't pay that much because there's Haitians, Dominicans that are often willing to work for much less than the foreigner. So if you have an expectation of finding a job that's going to pay you in pesos 30, 40, 50,000 pesos per month, well, good luck. My advice is, if you're going to come down here and work, there's only one type of work that's going to give you any decent money, and that's to be self-employed. And that's a whole new arena again. Being self-employed, there's so many ways to do it. The smartest way, if you don't need to make a lot of money, is to work from home. Either way, there's pros and cons. The next thing is, run that business professionally. Answer your telephone, answer emails. Here you can't afford to miss an opportunity. There's not an endless supply of clients, and it's two very small towns if you're going to work, say, Sosua, Cabarete, or even Puerto Plata. Very small areas where people talk, so you simply can't afford to make a mess out of it the first time or the second time. You always have to be on the ball, go the extra mile, provide good service, and then you can probably have a pretty good business running. Okay, next we're going to hear from some business people to hear about their experiences coming down here, setting up businesses, and what they think of it all. Marcus, thank you very much for being on video here. What would you say the market's like? You're a metal worker here in Dominican Republic. What's it been like?
It's a tough market. It's not much money on the market. Prices are low for work. It's really tough to make money out of it. Work is a lot, but if you want to deliver quality and you really work hard for it, it's not easy to explain to the clients that you need some money for that to survive from that work. That's the greatest problem here, actually.
So you're from Germany?
Yeah, I'm from Germany.
And compared to doing the same kind of thing in Germany, what's the difference in income?
Oh, it's huge. It's a price level. In Germany, of course, we have more expectations by the clients. But even here, sometimes people from abroad, they come over, they have the same expectations at home, but very fast they realize that prices are much lower, so they want best quality at local prices, and that does not match.
Mm-hmm. So do you find you have to work a lot more hours, or?
Yeah. Because it's not so efficient here. You have lots of lack of power. You have blackout during day, you have harsh weather conditions, humidity is not good for metalwork anyway. You need to take care a lot about anti-corrosion measures to protect corrosion, and it's, the material quality is not the same like in the countries where we come from. We have pretty bad quality normally. Most people are not ready to pay for more work, more poisonous work actually, like welding galvanized steel. And it's not very common because many local metal workers, they don't offer it because they don't have the equipment to weld properly galvanized material. So many clients understand, but some of them, they just refuse. They say, oh, this was much cheaper, and they do not realize that if you put cheap material and cheap work, you have to buy it after a couple of years again, and then it's more expensive than you buy good quality with good material from the very first day.
Mm-hmm. And what advice would you give to newcomers if they want to come down here and work?
Be ready to sweat a lot for the money.
La, 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 la. Celine, thanks for being on camera.
Hello.
Could you please tell the viewers where you were when you were studying Dominican Republic? You've come down here and started a business, and you can tell the viewers exactly what you started, but how did it all start for you?
Me and my husband, we are French. We are a flyboard instructor before in French, but not a long time. We do especially the flyboard formation to come here in Dominican Republic. In France before we had a restaurant, but we want to start something new here in Dominican Republic because I think there are lots of restaurants and it's not the easiest business, and the flyboard is new.
And what was it like coming down here and starting that business up?
To come to live here is a dream from a long time. It is from 2001, but we have to prepare all the project, what we want to do, what we want to do here in Dominican Republic, and we start the flyboard since January. It is a little bit complicated with all the law here in the country because the jet skis are forbidden and the flyboard is a new sport, totally unknown in the country here in Dominican Republic.
So you had to go through a bit of red tape to get all the permits, etc.?
Very long time to get all the permits, and for the moment we have the permit to do it at La Boca in the river, but it's very complicated for us to have a customer because it's an activity It is during 20 or 30 minutes, and lots of people don't want to move very far away to do only 20 or 30 minutes activity. And we try to obtain authorization to do it here in Playa Sosua. We have, I think, to change a little bit our mind and to buy a boat, because the jet ski are forbidden. And we think, I hope next year we can start flyboarding here in Sosua Beach with the boat.
So what advice would you give to anybody thinking of coming down here to either work or start a business?
Not to forget that it's an island, because we see it, we have a little problem with technical things about reparation, to fix the jet ski if there's any problem, or to buy some parts. Here in the country it's very difficult to find all the parts we need for the jet ski. We have to buy it at United States or in France. Yes, not forget that it's an island and you can't find all what you want.
Yeah, and what's the market been like for you? What's business turned out to become? Good or?
Yeah, very good. We hope after we have the authorization to do it here in Sosua Beach that we can work with the hotels. We have a contract with the lifestyle in Maimon near Puerto Plata, and we just wait the authorization to start here. And I think when we have this authorization and when we can start to work with the hotel, we have, I think, lots of customers.
Great. Well, I wish you all the very best.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on video.
Thank you.
Message for money. Well, I'm beating you.
So what advice would you give people who are coming down here to start businesses?
Well, I tried by myself, and my advice is you have to know the right people, and the people over here, they are very territorial. Then if you try to start something and they already there, even if they are permit or not, you're not going to be allowed doing your things if you don't go with them, if you don't try to bribe them to.
So you meet the corruption straight away.
They just want to get your part of your money. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's very hard to do that, and the police can do nothing with it, and it's very hard. Believe me, it's very hard. Sometimes you decide to just put everything away and do something else without them.
So you started something which was a beach activity. If you could start something else down here, what do you think would be a better business?
Well, the way I'm gonna do it, I don't know. I think I'm gonna try to be associated with somebody local, somebody who have influence of the area where I'm gonna try to install my business. Otherwise,
So it's really about who you know.
Otherwise, it's not gonna work. That's for sure.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay.
All the best.
Buscando dineros, buscando dineros, buscando.
Hello, my name is Michael Goss. I'm an entrepreneur. I have businesses here in the Dominican Republic, and it's very rewarding to be able to live in a place that you enjoy and also earn a little coin here while you support your lifestyle. If I was to sort of explain my story, it started on a 5-day vacation. On the 4th night, I was out on the beach as the sun was setting and decided that I wanted to change my life and live here. So it was a very spontaneous decision. You call it midlife crisis, I call it midlife epiphany. From there, I obviously needed to figure out how I was going to earn money here, start business, and start a new place, a new chapter of my life.
And what was your first business that you set up down here, and how did that go?
Well, my first business here, I obviously looked at things that people would need, or I thought people would need. So I got into the import-export business. And there are a lot of vehicles here, so I started bringing in small engine parts, used tires, things of that sort. The challenge with that was I was accustomed to doing business in the United States. I was accustomed to the forms, the paperwork, the processes being more streamlined, more organized, and very clear in terms of what the fees would be. Here, it's not that at all. There's a learning curve to doing business here. So that first year was a disaster because I was always looking for documentations, experiencing delays, and when your money is engaged, your money moves really fast when it can't come back to you quickly enough to make sense for you. So what I did was I learned from it. I took my time to figure out the culture here. Because I had businesses in the United States and those businesses were successful, that's great, but those rules don't apply here. So you have to learn how to navigate the government, the processes, who's involved. For example, if you're trying to get building permits, you have to deal with the military. If you're trying to import containers here, you don't really know what the taxes are going to be until your goods arrive here. So if you're not prepared to pay the taxes that they dictate, then you can lose your container, you can lose your products if it doesn't make sense in terms of the price that they charge you to pull them out.
So how did that business end up for you?
I got my money back, which is not a business. I was fortunate though, most don't. I was able to, in a year's time, recover my initial investment, but I didn't make any money. But in that time frame, I learned that that hustle wasn't really going to pan out long term, and just exchanging money is not a way to make a living. So
did you get any relaxation during that year?
No. I thought I did, but because the pressures of that business weighing on my mind, I could never really relax. Yeah, I traveled and I explored the island, but I always had that in the back of my head in terms of, trying to solve for recovering my money. What I did though, I just changed gears altogether. I got out of import-export and started to involve myself in the vacation rental business. So it's better to collect dollars or euros and convert those to pesos as an as-needed basis. If your clients are paying you in that form, you're going to be cash strong. Your dollar is going to be strong over here, and then you can use it to take care of your affairs in other parts of the world.
Well, congratulations for this. This is a complex we're sitting in here that you own, and you're renting out space for companies as well as for short-term rentals. Is that right?
Yes, vacation rental.
Yeah.
And not only that, we do experience packages as well. So we basically ask our clients, how do you want to feel? And we match accommodations and activities in accordance to how you want to feel, whether you want to be an adrenaline junkie and a pleasure seeker, or are you looking to relax, are you looking to get over some writer's block and you want creative inspiration. We have all types of packages and experiences we put people in different parts of the island.
Mike, what advice would you give to anybody who's planning to come down here and enjoy the island, but they need to get money from somewhere? What would you suggest?
There are a few ways to make money here, but I would encourage anybody looking to invest money here to go very slow in the beginning, and don't come with hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to start something right away. Figure on somewhere less than $10,000 US to get started. That's not going to make or break you in life, and you can play with that as you learn, because there's a learning curve to doing business here. And while the local Dominican residents may not have the same information that you do, the same education that you do. They're very savvy, and they will exploit your naivete if you're not careful. So one thing that I would say is, as I mentioned before, collect dollars, collect euros. Try to do a business that doesn't get paid, that pays you in pesos. The way to do that is to figure out how you can maybe telecommute with your current career path, consult, put together an online store where you can base yourself anywhere in the world and still collect money. Those are very solid ideas, and there are many people here that do that have online businesses, online consulting services, people that have, the 1 day or 2 day jobs in the United States or Germany or wherever you're from, and you're still able to stay connected to your income. The other things that work here are real estate and the hospitality industry. Tourism is the #1 industry here, so if you can find a niche within that, whether it's running excursions or you have a boat you want to rent out and do fishing trips, you have apartments or houses that you want to put on the market for rent, those are very good, solid ways to make money, not have your money pass through the hands of staff and a lot of other people. You can control it better. That's really the main thing, is to control your money. Don't allow other people to touch your money, and make sure that you're getting paid in real world currency. So also, if you're considering opening a business here in the Dominican Republic, the first thing that I would suggest you do is get a good, competent attorney. Make sure that attorney has the ability to speak your language. There are many attorneys here that speak multiple languages. Also, wherever you're from, it'd be a good idea to have your attorney there be able to communicate with your attorney here, just for checks and balances. But in terms of contracts, from your lease agreement on your building to negotiating the sale of your goods and services, and how you set up your employees and the labor laws that apply here, it definitely requires having competent legal help to protect you, your money, and your overall lifestyle here. So find a good lawyer as your first course of business.
Excellent. Well, congratulations with your success here, and thanks for being on camera.
All right, thank you.
Yes, I act so funny when I'm looking for that money. Yes, I act so funny.
Milton, thank you very much for jumping on the camera here.
Wonderful. It's a pleasure.
Great. Could you please tell the viewers your suggestion? Obviously, this is about people coming down here to potentially work. What do you suggest to any foreigners who are thinking of coming down here to have an income ongoing?
Well, guys, all of you, I'm talking to the world. Foreigner guy trying to come to the Dominican Republic, and especially here in the North Coast, it's a great place. Wonderful place to survive and to do the nice Dominican lifestyle. Here, you can find a job, you can make sport, you can make your money on the computer, guys, as you used to do it. So, don't worry, come down, it's safe, it's a very nice place, and for sure, we are more than welcome you, all of you guys.
And what sort of businesses would you suggest they start if they want to start a business?
Well, as soon as you guys come, immediately, you come from a very huge city, you will realize immediately what we need, what service you can provide, and there will be many Dominican in order to help you and to run that together with you if you try to go by yourself.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
All the best. Thanks. How have you found the marketplace to be here?
The marketplace here is pretty robust. There's a lot of entrepreneurs, not just expats, but also Dominicans. So there's quite a bit of competition. I had competition when I got into this business, but like I said, it was an existing business and already a strong, successful business. But I caution people that if you want to go into business here, you really need to do some due diligence. It's not the same as the United States. The salaries here are much lower. Dominicans are paid much, much lower than we're accustomed to in North America or Europe. So you have to realize that you're going to have to employ Dominicans and pay these salaries. If you employ all expats, they're going to want more money, obviously, which would make it difficult to compete. So that's one consideration. Another consideration is this is a thriving, very busy town. Sosua has always been a nice business community, a lot of banks, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of restaurants. So on the subject of restaurants, for example, there are numerous Italian restaurants in town that are very good. The reason being is that a lot of Italians have decided to emigrate here and open restaurants. So, for example, if you're looking to open an Italian restaurant, you better do your due diligence and maybe stop in all these restaurants, eat there, and see if you can compete. See if they're all thriving. See if you have something different. We always think that we have a better product than the next guy, but I've seen many people get into restaurants in particular and bars here, and there really is plenty of both. So you have to be very careful getting into those businesses. They're relatively easy to get into. You can make a lot of money in those businesses, but you can also flame out very quickly. And there's a lot of competition here. Anybody will tell you that in the bar and restaurant business in particular.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments.
I'm working for peanuts, chopping down the coconuts. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm here with Samara. Thank you very much for being on video.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Welcome. Could you please tell the viewers how you discovered Dominican Republic and what made you come down here, what you did, etc.?
I came down here in February 2013. I was working with Club Med in Punta Cana. I was a bartender and dance choreographer for some of the shows at night, for the dance shows and teaching a bit of salsa. My contract was about 6 months. After my contract, I went on a little road trip around the DR, completely fell in love with the country, decided to stay, and after that I continued with all my diving. I did all my diving courses, and now for the last 4.5 years I've been teaching diving, so I'm a PADI scuba diver open water instructor.
Excellent. Samara, for those overseas wondering, how much can I make from a job down here, or different kinds of jobs? You've had a few different jobs. What do they pay?
It depends on the job and depends on the location. There's certain hotels and certain all-inclusives, such as Club Med. They will pay for your working visa down here. They'll pay for your flight to come down here, and they give you a pretty decent salary, anywhere up to $500 to $1,000 a month. But they have room and board included. As for diving, it also depends. As a dive instructor, you can make anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a month. Some will put up room and board also. And bartending, it depends. Mostly people come here, and as long as you can speak English and speak more than one language, there are companies that will pay for you the more languages you speak. For example, as a dive instructor, I know someone, they speak 7 languages, so they get an extra $500. So it's all relevant, and plus living here, it's pretty cheap to live here. So the money is all relevant to what you make here, is how to live here, so you can support yourself.
So if somebody's soul or free spirit there, then you can live pretty affordably down here.
You can definitely live affordable. For an expensive apartment here, it could be maybe $300-400 a month. But if you're making $1,000, well, then you got $600 to play with, or save to go travel somewhere else.
Now, knowing that as a career lady overseas, you could make a lot more money. What makes you trade it off with
happiness?
This?
Happiness. I love what I do, and I won't change that.
Fantastic.
That's for sure.
Okay. Thank you so much for being on video.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All the best.
Grinding teeth cause I wanna make some real dough, but it's tough cause I'm working for the peso.
So if you could suggest to anybody who's thinking of coming down here to survive, what's your biggest suggestion to them when it comes to income?
Oh, I think bring your money. That's a big suggestion.
Yeah,
get it from abroad or do something online, like online teaching, online buying and selling, so that you're in fact working for American or European, that you're in fact working abroad and get your money from there. That's the best solution.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
I'll fix your road if you pay me dough. I'll fix your road if you pay me dough.
Thanks, Alex, for being on camera. Can you please tell the viewers your outlook on working down here? For foreigners wanting to come down, is it easy or is it hard? What's the economy like, in your opinion?
Oh, my opinion is, I'll tell you something. Working here is a little bit hard. If you don't be professional, you cannot find some good job here. If you want to have a job, you can try. The economy is very bad. The government is stealing. The poor is more poor, the rich more rich. So if you want to make some business down here, you have to really investment in real estate. This is the only thing I think about that thing. About the job, government they give no job. It's very bad situation about the economy from the government here. It's really bad.
And if foreigners wanted to start a business?
Oh, you can start a business here, but you have to look for somebody very honest and serious. Difficult to find it. But you can find some people like you too. You be serious guy, and you can make a good business here too. This is what I think about.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All the best.
I'm cleaning up after a hurricane. Her name is Irma and she's such a pain. My back is busted and I feel the strain. I'm cleaning up after a hurricane. Yes, I feel it.
Ian, thanks for being on video. Now, when it comes to hiring staff, how much should they be paid down here? If somebody definitely wants to come down and start a business of any kind where they need Dominicans or Haitians or even foreigners, what's the minimum wages?
Minimum wages are between 300 and 500 pesos a day, which is roughly 10,000 pesos a month, 10 to 16,000 pesos a month.
And there's something called, is it TSS insurance? Could you explain what that is, please?
The new laws, one of the new laws that's recently come in is all employees have to have that. The government insurance, half of it the employee pays and half of it the employer pays.
So being in the bar and restaurant kind of game, if you were to give advice to anybody coming down to start a business with open door like you're running, what advice would you give them?
Make sure your employees are registered, that you have a good accountant that keeps track of how much your employees are making, what their healthcare costs are, getting insurance for them, which involves also having to get blood tests done with your employees. And because Turismo, the national agency they've been going around to every bar in town, making sure that all employees are covered, and making sure they're all been blood tested.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ian.
Yeah.
I'm just slipping away. Gotta make my pay. Just slipping away.
Hi Olga, thank you very much for being on camera. And you run Plan B, a popular bar and karaoke place here in Sosua. So you got a lot of experience in having staff. What advice would you give to the viewers on recruiting staff down here?
My preference to have foreigners for the staff. But with foreigners we have many problems because most of foreigners have no permission for work here. Second, foreigners cost too much money. So we have only one way working with Dominicans. But with Dominicans we have other kind of problem. So I am working with girl staffs, like waiters. So you can have problem with pregnancy. You can have problem with don't coming in work. You must have problem with some sickness. First of all, you must be careful with documents, with all personal dates. You must check it, and you must have and see all documents about no pregnancy, about social insurance if they have, and you must put your personal officially in TSS.
But a good lawyer would be able to recommend them exactly what they need to get.
Must be good lawyer or good contability, or here is too much agency with lawyer and contability together. They can protect, it does not cost too much. It's about $100 for months, but you have no problem with personnel. You have no problem with taxes. They do all for you, but you need it because it's these expenses. It's very important for starting business. If not, you will every month you will have problem with personnel. You can lose many money and lose your business too. So, best way to do always from first day, do official. If you don't want to lose your money.
Okay, thank you very much, Olga. I appreciate your comments.
Not at all. Good luck.
Thank you.
He's got the money.
Yeah, Roger. I'll be there in about an hour. I was just delayed doing a big bank transfer to Bermuda. Okay, buddy. Sounds good. I'll be right over.
He's the man with the money. He's got the money. He's the man with the money.
Here I am with Matt from Midtown Sosua Bar and Restaurant. Thank you again for being on video, Matt.
Always my pleasure, Mr. T.
Thank you. Now, could you just tell the viewers what expectations you had originally when you were sitting overseas, checking out the country, and what the reality was when you actually got here?
Sure. For me personally, I'd been visiting the country about 10 years, and I was getting up to as much as 4 times a year. I was really enjoying it, and needed a change in my life. So started to looking into opportunities down here, and of course had my own expectations as to what I thought it would be like. I can say after now living here 2 years, owning a business down here, the expectations are not always met, and it's not always in a bad way. Sometimes we have expectations that are of grandeur, maybe more than we expect, especially moving to a tropical paradise, as we say. So I think anyone that has any kind of inkling to do something like this would really need to realize that you have to look at both sides and realize that your expectations can be high, but be prepared for when they're not met.
And especially when it comes to business, because that's what this video is about, working down here potentially.
Absolutely.
How did it turn out different than what you had expected?
Well, for the most part, doing business here in the DR isn't so difficult. I owned a similar business back home, and a lot of it is the same. The expectations of the finances tend to be different than what you expect. I expected a certain number to be had at this restaurant. One, because I was kind of told that, and some of those expectations haven't come true.
So just general advice about books, and what would you say to the potential business owners or buyers?
I would say if you're looking at someone that's selling a restaurant or a business, take the books with a grain of salt. Make sure you have finances behind you to withstand the worst of times and hope for the best. You're not always going to see the amounts that people try to show you, because you have to remember they're trying to sell their business. So everyone tries to make it look a little better than maybe it is.
So using a bit of zero-based thinking, if you could go back in time, how could you have checked things out better?
In this country, I don't know that there's a lot of ways you can check anything better, because you're relying on people's personal bookkeeping. It's their numbers they're putting on the paper. They can put any numbers they want within reason, and you can understand it and want to believe that they're there. So I don't know that there's a big way of checking it. What I would do is, if I had to do it again, I would have lowered my offer for the restaurant business, and I think I was a little bit excited. Well, I don't think I got completely ripped off. I think now I could have gotten a better deal than I did. So you can always start low, and you can always go up. It's when you start at a high, you obviously can't return.
Very good. Thank you for your comments, and I know you're doing very great here with your special personality and talent anyway, so congratulations on that.
Thank you, Mr. T. I appreciate it. We love having you here.
Take care. All right, folks, that was all the interviews finished. Just for the remainder of this video, I'll scroll on the screen a list of suggested businesses. which you could start up down here, which are either in demand or in industry niches that are not too competitive, or where there's a larger demand than the current supply available here. I hope you found this video useful for your decision making process, and of course I would love to hear your comments. And stay tuned as there's more documentaries on the way. Alright, take care, happy travels, and see you next time. Dear viewers, the area where you saw I was doing the introduction to this video has caught on fire, so it's not going to be as pretty as what you saw in the beginning. Fire trucks are coming up here, but it's running wild. Very dangerous. I better stop filming here because it's coming straight towards me. Here I am trying to help a gentleman on the brink of all of this, keep his antennas from burning here. He's got 2 satellite dishes that nearly went up in flames. Wow.
Ay amor, tanto que te he buscado, al mundo le he preguntado, de la fila yo miré, porque yo guardo un secreto en el fondo de mi alma, te lo juro vida mía, que nadie se lo diga. Si tu novio te deja sola, y yo vas a buscarte, pero será que la noche de hora, para que la roba le convence.